What we are not seeing. Well, today we would like to seize the opportunity to make in some extent a limited approach with relation to some factors, situations, or events that have been happening nowadays. But before impetrating in the core of the issue, we would like to have a north, a compass, that can allow us not to get lost, that we do not make the mistake of getting out of the context of things, and that we end out of order. To achieve this, we would like to have the opportunity of using the wise words of Jesus the Messiah that said, "They seeing see not." We will leave it right there. And as a theme, we would like to use the following. What is that we are not seeing? For this end, we are going to use a series of sessions, of studies, of talks, we would like to say, that can allow us the complete approach of a series of topics that we want to bring to reflection, or as one will say in another context, as a theme of discussion. So to begin today, to begin now, to begin in this moment, to address this theme about what is that we are not seeing, we would like to make some reflections, some commentaries, some analysis regarding a situation that we will say has been affecting the environment in almost global scale, and is this issue of the election of the United States. We believe that we cannot introduce ourselves in this issue without putting first the context of some things that we consider are very important, that have to be in the theme of discussion. One of them, which we consider important, is the fact that many religious people that we consider Paulines or Johncists or Pedrists, but many religious people, whether you call it between quotation marks apostle, prophet, or visionary, some weeks previously to the election of the President of the United States, whether it will have been a re-election or a new election of a president, filled up the different media or the news sources or the social media with a series of prophecies, visions, and declarations that in our understanding, or better to say, to our little understanding, are regrettable, are piteous, and are sad. Why? Because maybe those that hear this analysis were aware that there appear many between parentheses pastors, apostles, prophets, visionaries, and well, even a spiritual advisor that the current President of the United States, Donald Trump, has, saying a lot of savage things, gibberish, vulgarities, heresies that are natural in those sort of environments in which they are developed. As we explain in another analysis that we made regarding the great desolation that actually devastates the world, the religious people have been exposed in an incredible way, and that in a great part of the countries of our region. Such is the case of the country in which we currently inhabit, a series of between parentheses healing people and chosen ones of God. When the desolation appeared, they also disappeared. And we hear nothing of them, that they were attacking or resisting or opposing the great desolation. Moreover, they hid themselves because they were afraid to die. In this point, we do not understand how they want to go to heaven, but they don't want to die. And we consider that one has to be ready to depart, has to have gratitude towards God for the opportunity that He gave us for being in this life. And if the moment has come to free up oneself and be prepared for the other stage that corresponds, But not that is not the issue right now that we are addressing today. What caught our attention is this religious putrefaction, this Pauline scum or Joneses or Pedrist that keeps demonstrating how absurd is the religion, that has nothing to do with the true faith. This pagan Babylonian religion that has had to face extraordinary powers and prove that are only deceit. And regarding the theme of discussion, which we would like to address in a broader way, but the time and space in which we share our publication is a little bit complicated, has generated that regretfully many people question the so-called prophets, apostles, and visionaries. And why this questioning? Look what an interesting thing. They bet, and that is the expression that we consider more properly, they bet that the President Donald Trump will be re-elected, the actual tenant of the White House. And where they took him and where they gathered and what they could talk about, they always told him, well, that he was almost a chosen one, that God was going to give him a second term, that was God's will, and this and that. And well, the history we believe we all know it. Obviously, the ones that learn this sort of news, that we are near of a relay, a change in the White House, and that now a new president presents himself with another type of mentality, with other tendency of other political party, and the so-called re-election was left in nothing, bringing a serious, formal, and strong questioning. These declarations of these cheap Paulines or these religion people or these liars of these scammers of the faith. And it is demonstrated once again, the great desolation has proved it also, but it is demonstrated once again that this serves support in a particular way. God has nothing to do with it, and it will be good to analyze it in another day. If God intervenes or not, does or does not regarding with the governments of the world. But that will take us out of the topic in this moment. What we would like to call your attention, what we would like to be comprehended and be the product of a debate, is why these religious people continue with this deceit and lie. There they live in a bubble, are in a powerful country that cannot be denied. Obviously, it is in decline, that cannot be denied also. But they put God as if God supports Donald Trump in his policies, in his affairs, and do not realize that many of the things for which God punished other nations, other peoples, other empires, since remote times, were because of these violations of the fundamental principles that God has as a policy of his kingdom. And in the particular case of Donald Trump, well, he violated some of them. So how is that God in ancient times behaved in a way, and how is God nowadays going to behave regarding these very same topics in another way? A foolish question, we will say. But here the problem that we have, the debate that exists, the criterion that has to be managed, is that why these cheap religious people, these Paulines insist in the deceit, even though they feel that they are the chosen ones, because they live in a good country, because they have a lot of people that makes offerings or that give tithe to them, and they live a certain life, and because they consider that what they do is God's will. But on the contrary, from what we see is that what has come to happen is that the masks have fallen from these cheap religious people, these liars, these deceivers, these scammers. Or as Peter say in one of his letters, these merchants of the faith. So definitely what we want to leave in the theme of discussion, to continue debating it, because we are only making the introduction in this moment, is, as you can see, that we are missing to see things. things that are very important to be seen, because these things are leading us to a message, are leading us to a way, are leading us to a revelation, to a knowledge, to something that it is to be said, but we are not seeing. That is why we consider the theme is fundamental. The theme is necessary. It is very important. What is that we have ceased to see? What is that we are not seeing? Because the Messiah said, they seeing, see not. We invite you to visit our webpage, churchofgod.tk. You can write us to our email, thelastchurch7, 7 in number, gmail.com. You can visit us in Facebook. You can visit also us in the social network of Instagram. We are also in Twitter. You can subscribe. We are also there trying to make an effort. The idea is to have an opportunity to share. If there are questions, doubts, or concerns, you can send them to our email. We will gladly attend you. And please visit our webpage. We're going to continue later approaching this topic. We believe it is important to see other edges that are still important to be addressed. But beforehand, we want it to be clear what is that we are not seeing. We thank you for your time, and we see you in the next episode. Thank you.